So last time we talked about traditional thinking, such as you can like monopolize resources or you want to be the first mover. But technology has changed a lot of those rules. And the three factors that currently drive the world is globalization, that there's so many resources out there you can't really monopolize it. If you can't find it in one place, you can get it somewhere else. The digital technology is everywhere, on all the time. And it's really lowered the barriers of access to information. So whenever someone does something, you can catch up and fairly quickly. Yeah, micro devices allow us to measure all the physical parameters in the world. So not only can we touch the world information-wise, we can also touch it in terms of physical monitoring. I've talked about richness and reach before in this concept. And so how are we going to get the holy grail of richness and reach? Through personalization, digitally learning more about you. That's how you get richness. And how do we get reach? Through the cloud, on all the time. Now in terms of first mover in tech markets have always been viewed to have huge advantages because of knowledge. You're the first one to control the resources. And you're way ahead on the learning curve. But again, due to globalization, you can't monopolize resources. There's somewhere in the world you can find it. Web and mobile allow you to have access to information. Quality is transportable. It took Japan 20 years, Korea 10 years, and China's coming up very rapidly. Quality now, because quality is no longer a competitive advantage. Anybody can get up to quality very quickly. Everything's written about it. All the tools are out there. And so quality isn't valued as much as it once was. And the learning curve's been shortened just because you can get information more quickly. So a lot of this is breaking down. However, it's also had other impacts, and that's that people aren't as loyal to their brands as they once were. Millennials tend to be very price driven. And do they have loyalty? Well, a report says that 75% of millennials would switch brands if they could get a discount at point of sale. And that's the problem with and you wonder why your generation doesn't have an Elvis. You have no loyalty. Actually, my general opinion of millennials is that people who criticize them are kind of out of line. Why? This is your world. This is a world you're going to build. Old guys like me, we had our time. And guess what? What did I leave for you? I left you a world of semiconductor technology, of microsensors. And so now, what are you going to go do with it? An example of so how do we put this whole lecture together of landscape? And here's an example. What about GoPro? Well, Nick Woodman, who actually founded GoPro, he actually didn't want to be in the camera business. He wanted to send it to Kodak, and he got sent down. And so Nick Woodman's big advantage. Okay, so what was special about GoPro? And that's that Nick Woodman was an extreme sports guy. He understood the customer better than anybody else. He understood why somebody will want this camera. And so I'll leave it to you to read over the example. If you have any questions, let me know. But you can do this with any product. You could sit down and figure out, okay, here's my landscape and here's my strategic landscape. And as you could see, you don't have to have everything. GoPro doesn't have any kind of supplier power. Doesn't matter. But if you have it, if it makes sense, strategy for your product, then by all means get it. Now, I don't teach a lot of this because, quite frankly, I don't believe it, but you've probably heard about red ocean, blue ocean. And what red ocean is when you're in a market space and there's lots of competition, and so, the ocean is bleeding red because so many people are competing. Or you can go swim out into the blue ocean, and that's because you've innovated and you've disrupted the market so much that you're all alone. That by changing features, you could find a gap or a niche, and you could charge less, and you could worry and not be happy. And be happy. This is why However, another approach to do it is what Senor Chavez refers to as the reef. And that's that instead of going low price, go high. The problem is when you go for the low price, automatically you've reduced the barriers to that segment you went up against. A lot of people can come in and go after you. On the other hand, if you offer a luxury or premium pricing, and you should be the premium product, you should be unique. You can make your money there and then attack the lower space later on. And that's the idea of the reef. These are the reasons why I don't teach red ocean, blue ocean. And red ocean, blue ocean is good as a branding thing. It's good to think about swimming out into a non-competitive space and creating something new. The problem is that it doesn't hold up to academic rigor. It's what they did is they took a bunch of companies that look like horses and say, oh, well, all these companies look like horses, and came up with this story that connected them all. The problem is that's descriptive and not prescriptive. There's been no product that was designed to red ocean, blue ocean that's been successful except for the Wii. And not only that, but just logically, if you're in the blue ocean and you show you can make money there, everybody's coming in after you. You might be in the blue ocean early on, but everybody's gunning for you. A good idea. People will take advantage of. And the other factor is that a blue ocean, it may not be a market that you can sustain and defend. So before you start planning, understand the landscape, understand how your enterprise stands up against competitors, and what is the context that drives your industry.